It's Kelly again, and I am doing part two of the British Virgin Islands. Um, I brought up this first because I know last time I talked about using the iPhone and going to the albums to find your pictures, okay? It's a great way to make your life easier. I got something new since the last time. My daughter got me this bucket list book, so it's really cool for me to write down notes during my trip. But this is also a cool thing, and this is from mixbook.com. Again, I don't get any um, money or anything. This is not gratuitous. It's just something I've used and really enjoyed. In fact, I've used Mixbook since my children were little. But what they do is these little scrapbooks, so it's really nice to have. And so you can see here is where we were at when we went on the British Virgin Islands, and I made a little scrapbook out of it. So it's really cool to do. Not really expensive, won't break the bank. We already looked at some of these pictures in my first session, and I think this is it where it says Norman Island. It's just hard to see. So we got there pretty quick, and this was day one, and we basically went to what they call Treasure Island. It's famous for that area. And we're actually on a mooring ball here. So before the mooring ball, we went over here to the left where they have a famous little cave, and it's actually historical. It's where Treasure Island came from. So the gentleman that wrote that book, I'm not a literary person, got the ideas from staying in the British Virgin Islands, and he wrote the novel, and that area is known for that Treasure Island book. And so there's this little cave that you can snorkel in, but I will tell you that they bring tourists by the droves to this area. We stayed on a mooring ball, and how that works is it's really pretty neat. It's about $50 a night. We had a generator for the electricity and for the air conditioning, and our air conditioning worked really well. The generator will maintain the refrigerator and all the important things like that. And we didn't do much that first day. We relaxed. The people we were with went for a walk. We did not look at this area the first day. We were quite tired. My husband and I wanted to relax. We swam from the boat. And then that night, over here in this area, kind of farther, is a boat on water called Willie T's. And it's a really famous place where you can get a drink and food. And so we did that. And I hate to say it, I sound really old, but I wasn't impressed by Willie T's. It was very dirty. The bathrooms were disgusting, and the food was not as good as people said it was. So the next day we got up early and we got to sail, and we sailed the next day kind of to the farthest point of this island. Not quite the farthest point, but we went to Virgin Gorda. I don't know why I keep going back to this picture when I could go back to this first picture. So we left Norman Island and we went all the way down here to the Baz in Virgin Gorda. This was the second place we went. So this took a while, and if I remember right, we sailed. The men loved it. And I want to say it took a couple of hours, okay? Pretty solid couple of hours because we napped and we had lunch while we still were sailing, and it wasn't quite hot enough. We didn't have to get in the water. We just took the whole time to get to the Baz. The captain was pretty laid back, I will say. I don't know if all captains would let you sail, but you know, he was there the whole time where my friend and husband sailed. So that was quite an experience for them. Perfect weather for it. So this time we stayed at a marina. It was a very nice marina. Pleasantly surprised. They had hot showers. They had a coffee shop. They had a gift shop. Um, so we got there, and the first place we went was the baths. We took one of these little taxis. You don't have to order that ahead of time because they're just sitting there waiting, and they're basically pickup trucks that have been converted to these little taxis that'll take you everywhere. And so the baths were really cool. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't do a lot of research on this trip like I did on my second trip that I'm going to be talking about. Um, but it's basically, they call the baths these rocks where the water swells in on high tide, and then they call this part down here the baths. And they have a lot of steps. We did unfortunately take a bag. My husband was not happy. But I didn't know, again, what to expect. So I brought some stuff in here. I will say you'll need good shoes. I purchased some Chacos for my husband and I. Fantastic idea. $25 Amazon. I couldn't believe I got 100 pair of Chacos that cheap. But as you can see, we have our sandals on. They get wet and they're fine. At the end of the baths, which takes you a while, when I say a while, it probably took us an hour to take the trail. You're going to come out this cool little bar here, and I got a frozen pina colada. They have some food. There's a beach. We didn't really swim, but again, I like to mention this is where they drop off the big boat people. So you can see a lot of these boats literally dropping people off and them trying to swim to shore to take the tour on the baths. And this particular area also has a swimming pool and a restaurant, so you could basically spend the rest of the day at this lodge if you wanted to. We decided to go back to the boat. Now, what else did we do? I couldn't get my friends or husband on board to make reservations. I've talked to several couples, and they're like, make reservations. I wanted to go to this restaurant. There was no availability. So my husband and I literally walked on the coastline, and we had a drink and an appetizer at this restaurant. And I thought it was fantastic. I was a little sad that we could not get a table. But we made the best of it, and if you're going to go, I will tell you to make dinner reservations. That's my opinion. It was called Cocomaya, Cocomaya. You can find them on TripAdvisor. It was a really cool place. I really liked it. It has Traveler's Choice of 2023. Again, I don't get any kickbacks for this, but that's where we had a drink and appetizer. And it is really cool looking. I thought I had a picture of it. Let's go to my album labeled BVI. This is what it looks like. This is me, obviously, and this is the background. You can see the water back there. This is before my husband got there. He was behind me, very leery. But they have a big gaming area here, Jengas. And you can just see how beautiful it was. It was really pretty, and I was really sad we didn't get to eat there. Next time. Okay, so we stayed the night. The next day we got up and we went to even farther. We went way over here. Anegada, not sure the name of it. It looks big, but literally it's not that big. We got there at a decent time. We rented mopeds, took a little backpack of things, and we went to the right of this island. And again, for visual people, we were somewhere in here, and we went all the way to the tip. And here is a beautiful, beautiful beach. We went snorkeling. There are some coral reefs there. We had lunch at a really good restaurant. I think I had coconut shrimp. It's one of my favorites. And then we got back on the moped and went around that opposite, not opposite, same direction. So from here we went this way, up and around, and ended up back here. And it was pretty much an all-day excursion for us because we took our time. Just so you know, the mopeds were around $100 a person, even though we're on there together. And this is us on the beach. It was really beautiful. Great snorkeling. The food, like I said, was decent. And so it was a really good time. We got back before dark, and there's a little place there, a little hut. Let me look at my pictures. I don't think I have a picture of that hut. Can't really remember the name of the hut. Isn't that terrible? But it was wonderful, and I could probably look under TripAdvisor again. That's where we came in and off the boat at. And it was really cool. Let's see here. It was called the Lobster Trap. So it's really cool, the Lobster Trap. That's where we got on and off the boat, and then they had drinks and food at the Lobster Trap. Not the one we had lunch at, but it's literally where we got to this area. We got off the little dinghy, got our mopeds and the Lobster Traps over to the right, and then we ate lunch. I'm not sure where we had lunch at. I hate to say that. I don't even think I could remember the name if I looked it up. Could have been the Pink Flamingo. It was something like that, well known, down by the water, and the building was kind of pinkish, so could have definitely been the Pink Flamingo that we had lunch. It was really cool. And the pictures look somewhat familiar. Okay. Fun day. So, trying to hurry because I'm past my time limit that I like to do my videos. That night we got back on the boat. We cooked some steaks. We just relaxed and slept. The next day we headed out and we went to the other famous island called St. John. Pretty sure it was St. John. Try to speed this up a little bit. St. John was a little bit, probably one of my favorite places we went. So you can see it took us a while the next day to get to St. John. It's not a good picture of St. John. I'm wrong. It's way over here. It was Joost Van Dyke. So we took a while to go from here to here. It's pretty much an all day to Joost Van Dyke. One of my favorite places was at this place at Joost Van Dyke. And actually our captain has a restaurant there. And this is a picture of Joost Van Dyke from the restaurant looking out at the boats at the mooring ball. This is a picture of our boat. And this is us dinghying in the boat to our captain's family restaurant. And that night we had lobster tail. It was so delicious. I did a TripAdvisor recommendation. It was one of my favorite restaurants the whole week we were there. So I highly recommend this restaurant. And it was called I've been on another trip since then, so I apologize. I don't review very often, but when I do, it's because it's something that was, I feel, one of the best places. Um, and so this restaurant was really good, and just go to TripAdvisor and you'll see a post. I don't know why I can't find it. You guys are probably already tired of me looking for things. That's what happens when you get older. Can't remember Jack. Um, Very good meal. Best meal of the trip, honestly. We stayed the night there and we got gas the next day. And the next day we proceeded to go over to kind of what I call a party island. I don't know if that's what people call it. It's where they have the salty dog. It's a very popular, a lot of young people, and they have these little places in here. Salty Dog's one of them. Young people, beach, lots of big yachts, beautiful view, but I'm kind of too old for that. So wasn't really into Salty Dog. We stopped a lot these 2 days along the way, and we snorkeled. And so the last few days was very relaxing for us. And then the last night we stayed back in Norman again. And this particular night we got dressed up and we went and ate at that really nice restaurant. Listened to a band. It was